I'm at Cramlington Hospital at the minute. My friend's got a swelling leg. As before, we cannot get doctor's appointments, and they wouldn't send them for x-rays or anything like that. So he was on the phone for ages. The doctor went in, didn't actually do anything, told him he needed antibiotics, but they wouldn't listen to about the pain. So they said, tough, you have to suffer. So he dialed 911, and they said get to hospital. So that's basically what's happened. He called me and says, "Oh, can you drop me off?" And I don't know what time I'm picking him up. It could be early morning when I pick him up. So we'll have to wait and see if we do another run. What I say? Let me just see if I get this camera a little bit of straightness. Using the Samsung again, because it's my favourite phone and you don't get too bad a picture.
Attention please, GA down.
Now I've got traffic everywhere, and that alarm is to say the car's been scanned by cameras. Quite annoying really, but I suppose better than having a ticket. Now I've been feeling pretty tired recently and lost interest. I mean, I was going to think about going out with a drone this afternoon, and then the blue skies went to cloudy and it started to piss down. Yeah, so I am thinking of going back a different way, because at the minute the 189 is got 4 miles of stationary traffic. So the only thing I think of doing here is going through Cramlington and then up the towards Ashington that way. So we'll take you for a little drive, find something to talk about. Otherwise I'll be stuck in traffic everywhere.
Attention please, GA down.
It tells me that every time there's a camera hits the car, so I had them the other day when I was in the middle of I was in the Lake District actually, nothing but trees, but there you go. This is High Pit, a place where I used to walk down to from school to see my mate and what have you. And then we're coming up to Cramlington, where dear old mum used to live. Yeah, it was pretty sad news about a disc jockey. Steve. Can't think of my name because I'm concentrating on my driving, but I used to listen to him a lot. Steve Wright passed away, bless him. He had a good career in the Radio 1, and then they changed Radio 1 to crap, and they moved him to Radio 2 and 3. It's just wrong the way things are being done at the minute. You know, you've got the BBC, which is no longer the British Broadcasting Company. They are demanding TV licenses if you watch foreign or anything live, but they don't pay the foreign football team, say. They don't pay out to France if you were going to watch live French stuff, you know, or whatever. So they are in breach of their own contract, you know. Plus, the price they charge is unbelievable. I think it was £159 for the year for crap. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch any of it, to be honest. I mean, the best programme on there probably to date is Doctor Who, but if you're not into sci-fi, then there's nothing. The soaps and what have you, they teach you bad things like, you know, how to rob places and how to beat up women and, you know, child molesting and everything else. It's just giving children the wrong thing, you know. TV was, when I was younger, educational. You know, we had things, you know, like how and things like that, you know, and you wonder why people you know, got rid of that, because I mean, How used to be a good programme, if you remember it, where they used to go through how things were done, really, you know. It was to show you how a camera works, to how to build a wigwam, and other things like Blue Peter. Blue Peter was good. Another noisy git. Yeah, Blue Peter, that was a good programme, and there's quite a few other programmes. I mean, Watch with Mother, for instance. We all came up with Watch with Mother, and there used to be education as well. Well, education used to be entertaining, you know. But you can't even have that sort of programme anymore because it offends people. I can remember Captain Pugwash. Do you remember that one? It used to be great. Entertainment, you know. It was little cardboard cutouts, and you know, they used to dance around the screen, and you're thinking, but what came out afterwards was they were all what they're called, the words behind the story, like there's Captain Pugwash and Roger the Cat, you know, which in today's society is not very good, you know, but it wasn't meant that way. It was meant as a joke, you know, and you know, you kind of you have all these words that can offend, you know. I mean, the whole Captain Pugwash team on the ship were all wrong, if you might think of it. And then you've got what was the other one we used to watch? Crackerjack on a Friday. It's Crackerjack. Yeah, I used to watch that. And then there was Blue Peter. Blue Peter used to be quite good. Talking about technology. Oh, that was Tomorrow's World. Yes, Tomorrow's World was very good. it's interesting if you go back to Tomorrow's World and watch it on YouTube or whatever, how things have advanced so much in the time period. You know, it's an interesting time period from what the 1950s right the way up to now, how things have changed. I mean, when I was young, I used to save the gollywog stamps, and the gollywog stamps got you a gollywog doll at the end, which was great. A lot of the boys and girls had these gollywogs and what have you. But then the black community said it was an offence to them, and they stopped the gollywog. I mean, it was, shall I say, at the time, because the gollywogs were black, children accepted black people. But once that was taken away, then the blacks really became an enemy, and at that point in time, well, not an enemy, but disliked, if you want to go that way inclined. And it's a shame, because at the time we were happy children, and then you get morons that change the world. I want to change the world for the better, and it's not happened that way. I mean, you've got, how shall I say, when I was young, I can remember skiving from school. We used to hide in the woods, me and my brother, because we didn't want to go to school, and the policeman caught us, and he dragged us all the way home with our ears. When we got home, handed us over to mother, and our mother belted us for not going to school. You can't do that nowadays. The policemen can't drag you, they can't touch you the way they did in the old days, And it didn't do me any harm, and we had a more stricter childhood, which makes us more respectful of people. And today, that respect has gone within our society. The people are they got away with everything while they were younger, so hence they now think they can get away with everything, and it's just not on, I mean, to be honest with you, I've never actually I've got to thank you. I've never actually had a fight in my life. I've always negotiated out of them, but today, society, you can't even walk down the street without somebody threatening you type thing, I can remember once when I was 7, I think it was in Canning Street School, down in Newcastle there, where I used to live, and this big guy, I mean, he was only 10 if that, but he was 6 foot. He was like Goliath, he was horrible. He was a really horrible person. Anyway, for some reason he picked on me and he wanted to fight me, and I said, well, he says, I'll get you on the break. So I thought, well, I don't really want to fight him. So what I'll do is I'll stay in the class. I'll stay and read books and study, you know. So anyway, my teacher came in and says, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" I says, "I'm just reading up studying." She says, "No, you're not allowed to. You've got to get out into the yard. It's, you know, because we don't like you here." So I was forced out into the yard. When I went out into the yard, there was just a circle of people, and there's Goliath at the end looking at me, dragging me on, saying, "Come on, come on," and all these people are cheering on, saying, "Go on, Robson, kick him," and what are you? Anyway, I thought, how the hell am I going to get out of this? So I walked halfway, and he started to walk towards me, and I thought, I'm going to get injured here if I'm not careful. So eventually I got up the courage and I ran towards him, and I jumped up on top of him, put my hands around his neck, and I gave him a kiss on each cheek. And I said, "I do really care for you, you know." He pushed me away. He says, "Keep away from me, keep away from me." And he never bothered me again. So there was no blood at that point in time. You know, it's it was a novel way of getting out of a thing. And every time I saw him in the corridor, he used to sidestep away from me, and I went, "Really?" So I don't know. Yeah, we had some good times when we were younger. I mean, my first job I had when I was at school, in the high school in Cramlington, we had our first time where we had our own studio. We had cameras, and we had the first recording cassettes, God knows what else. We had an old studio where we could do our own radios and televisions and God knows what else. And it was something I was interested in, but it never happened because the equipment was getting installed, and then by the time it installed, I was told I could leave school. So I never got to see that side of things, which was quite upsetting really, because when I was there, I used to try and study, although I didn't do very well on my exams. I did get an O level, but I shall I say I did religious class, and I used to always speak out to the religious teacher about the scriptures and the Bible and what my thoughts were at the time and what they are still now. And eventually he kicked me out of his class. And every time he says, "Don't ever come back into my class." So every time I had religion, everybody went to religion, and I went to the library. And eventually they said, "Oh, as you can't do religion, you better pick something else." I went, "Pick something else? What you got?" And she said, "Metalwork or cookery." And I thought, "Oh God, screeching of metal, I don't fancy that. I'll have a go at cookery." So I went into cookery at school, making cakes and scones and that. And to be honest with you, I really enjoyed it, you know. And when I left school, finally, I said I didn't have that many qualifications, and I ended up being an optical mechanic down in Lard. used to wire the machines up to give me electric shock, and I broke quite a few lenses because I was shocked. And he didn't take their side, didn't take my side, he took their side, and basically he sacked me. So well, he transferred me to another firm in Blythe, where I did probably 3 years in as an optical mechanic, doing the lenses and fitting them and what have you, which was quite good, but I felt kind of trapped at that point in time, you know. So I decided that maybe the Air Force would be a good place, because my dad was in the Air Force. My dad was a driver in the Air Force. I thought, maybe traffic jam. You know, maybe I should join the Air Force. So I went down for the medical, and they do the full check, you know, get you stripped right off and make you cough and bend over and God knows where else. And I passed the medical, surprisingly enough. I thought, oh well, that's at least two things I've got on me, me qualifications, you know. So they decided to accept me. So we went on. I told my mum and dad, and we were going on holiday, and we went up to Eyemouth up on the borders there. Had a caravan, and we were right next to the train, which made it noisy. I'll pause it here for a second. Yeah, so we were right next to the railway, which is where I think the Great Train Robbery was taking place there, you know, in the past, which was quite amazing. Oh, look at this. We're still in the traffic. Bloody hell. We had the other area was full of traffic as well. That's why we come this way, but we're not getting out of it. Well, that was a 12-minute wait. Doubt if we're going to get through on this one. Yeah, so anyway, I joined the Air Force. They sent me a letter while we were on holiday, and I got the. Can't remember how I got it actually. I think I might have got the letter before I went on holiday to say I had to be on the train for Swindeby on a certain date. So look at this traffic. So yeah, my dad took me down to the station with lots of tears from mum and what have you, and I went on got on the train, waved my bye-byes, and I thought how I made the right decision. And anyway, got the train down to Newark, which was a one train change at Newcastle and down to Newark, and well, basically at Newcastle, once we arrived at Newark, there was a military vehicle bus there which we got on, which took us up to Leeming, and that's where it all started. My service career, it was a 16-man room, always playing tricks on you, didn't like it. The sergeant major used to come in and shout out Reveille at 6 o'clock, and I really was disheartened. So I phoned my mum up and said I want to come home. She says, you've got two choices. You stay there, or you come back and you work in the factory. So stick it out, because it's not very nice in the factory. And so I went, oh yeah, okay. So I stuck it out in the factory, and stuck it out in the Royal Air Force. Didn't fancy the factory, and it was 6 weeks of hell, really. Well, I say hell. It was a lot of marching, and he said I had to do one of the stipulations, or one of the on the PT side of things. He used to say, "You've got to climb the rope," but I couldn't climb the rope. Give me 15. So I do 15 press-ups, and he let me go. So I said, okay. The next day, went in there. I said, I'll just give you 15 because I can't do it. He said, just for your cheek, you do 20. So I did 20. After that, I know I'm not going to say a word. I'll just do my press-ups. He just smiled. And you're thinking, what a life, It's, I say I could not climb that rope. And the swim baths, yeah, we had to learn to swim. I never did learn to swim, but what made me scared was
Attention please, GA
one of the guys held me under the water, which was very frightening, to be honest, and that kind of put me in the fear of water for the rest of my life. I just did not want to go in the water for that fear of being trapped under it and not being able to breathe. And it's the things children do to you when you're young that changes you, So anyway, yeah, I got through that palaver of 6 weeks training. Well, in fact, on, I think it was week 5. Week 5, we had to go to Nottingham Forest, which was an hour bus drive. And anyway, we had to rough it. We had to spend a week making up tents and catching food and cooking it, and yeah, you name it, for 5 days. And 4 of us had made something up, and we came up and we got stomach bug poisoning, and you're thinking, oh, I couldn't stand up. 3 of us couldn't stand up because of the pain that crossed our stomach. So we were sent back, and we were in the hospital for the last week before I passed out. And that's not passed out as in fainted. It passed out means passing the services. So I ended up on that particular day. My dad came, my mum came down. I think my sister and brother were there as well, and it was on this parade, and it was one of the most thrilling things I've had and done in my life, where the Red Arrows came across to us, and then the bands pipe up with the military march, and you kind of stand proud. You're marching to the music, and yeah, I think it's something that the younger people would not recognise how that feels. It's a marvellous feeling. So yeah, as I say, we did the pass out, and then I think I had 2 weeks leave then to go home with Mum, and then where were we after that? Oh, because when I joined up, I joined up as radar, so that was my forte, controlling aircraft in the northeast coast, pardon me. And we used to have a radar dish which was kind of divided for your area, and on the east side of our country there's a...
Attention please, TA down.
It's going to make lots of noises now for the next half hour. Let's switch her off. Yeah, it's kind of... On the east coast, everything goes northbound. On the west coast, Blackpool area, they come southbound. And then you've got crossovers which link the airports, so... And there's the large radar area which has its code. So to give you an idea of how we worked it, I was given November Bravo, I think it was. That was the area of 100 miles on radar, and each radar, I say November Bravo covers the whole screen, then that's divided into squares, so you get an aircraft coming in then to one of the smaller squares, and they are numbered, and you get a zone, so you get November Kilo, Bravo Kilo 25, Southwest Kilo Alpha 704, and that's the sort of talk you used to do. I mean, November Kilo, November Bravo is obviously your radar. November Kilo was the square that this aircraft was in. Then you get the southwest, and that's the direction pending. Kilo 4, is the height and what have you. So, but just doing one was difficult enough, but you had to do 20 of them in a minute. My limit was 15, I think, so I failed that, and basically was told I could no longer do the radar side of things. But however, I did see UFOs on radar, which was interesting, which is under the top secret marker. And then I mean, Brodie, where I was trained, you had to literally, I got a taxi down there, then I had to get a boat to get to Brodie. A boat. I started off in a car, then I had to get on a train to get down to the boat to get me across the camp. So when I was asking for the resetting of my service on this one, the train had left, or the boat had left, so I was stuck there till the next day, where I had to get on the boat to get to the train, to get a taxi back to I think it was West Drayton they actually sent me to, so had all the trains to get down to West Drayton, where it Anyway, that's 35 minutes. We're back in good old New Biggin. That's a little bit about my history and what made me the way I am. Hope you enjoy that. Catch you later. Bye.